Hey everybody, this is Matt Reisinger, the Reisinger Homes. Welcome to my video blog on green building and building science. It's one of the coldest days in Austin, Texas in the last 20 years, but my man Daryl is doing an amazing job on these stairs over here. We're in a very old house, a 1930s house, here in a pretty historic neighborhood in South Austin called Travis Heights. And we're working with Rick and Cindy Black, the architects in this project, for a pretty amazing staircase. You can see Daryl's already got his stringer up on one side here, and then a second stringer on the other side. Now this is, what do we call this stringer? An encapsulated stringer, Daryl? Or a captured stringer? Is that the correct? Captured stringer? So I don't know if you can see on the back side there, but Daryl has dadoed out on the back of that. All of our treads are getting let in here, and here's our risers. And then we've got a guardrail with some stanchion posts here. And these are actually Daryl's jigs that he made up to use his router on. Look at those great jigs. So he had to lay this jig up and route each one of these stairs in. This is how they did it a long, long time ago. We've seen houses that we've remodeled from the 40s that had the same method. And then this is one of our treads, right, Daryl?
Right.
And this is actually very historic pine. This is longleaf pine that was taken out of some reclaimed beams from an old 1800s built warehouse in Houston, Texas. So it's some pretty amazing woods. So Daryl, what's the next step in the process of construction on these stairs?
I need to get this landing done in the flooring material, so then I can start my stairs. And that's going to also capture this and hold it in place so I don't have to run any screws anywhere.
That's great.
I get my nosings on, my skirt, and nosing down the side, and then lay the flooring while I have access to being able to nail in this area. And once the flooring is down, I'll start riser, tread, riser, tread.
Wow, it's going to be awesome.
And we'll be putting a groove in each riser and into the tread so that we can shoot PL400 into that, so that it can bond with this.
And then what's the fastening on this side? Is there any mechanical fastening as well?
No.
Okay, just PL400 basically.
Two screws in this stringer.
On the other side. Yeah, on the stair step stringer. Well, it's a very, very cool project. We're going to come back on a second video. We'll marry these two. And so we'll catch up with Daryl here in another 2 weeks or so, a week or so, see how these stairs are coming along. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you in a little bit. I think last time we did some video, we had the stringers up, and I'd showed you how Daryl had dadoed in for our treads and risers. And so we've got about 80% of the treads on now, something like that. Daryl, what happened to that tread we had here a second ago? I want to show everybody what you're doing here. So this tread, if you remember correctly, is let in to a dado on this side, and on the other side the stringer is underneath. So where we've let that in, here's one of the treads we're using right here. This is a glue up of 4 individual boards that have been glued together and clamped. And that is an old longleaf pine. It's over 100 years old. Came from a warehouse in Houston, and we reclaimed it. And so, Daryl, tell me about the dados that we see on this tread. What are these being used for?
Well, I wanted to get some extra grabbing strength where it was going into the stringer here, so I dadoed a slot that I filled with PL400.
So that's this construction adhesive we're
Correct.
talking about right here. And Daryl, tell everybody why you would prefer this over, let's say, a Titebond 2 wood glue for this application.
That's just going to run all over the place, and most subfloor adhesives are really runny.
Yeah.
The PL400, you can put it in, it sticks, and it stays built up.
Yeah, that's
until
great.
You smash it.
And it's got some gap filling properties too, so it's going to fill those gaps and really grab a hold well in there. And then this dado is for what, Daryl?
I ran the risers 3/16 higher, so it would go in there. And then I dadoed this out at a 1/4 inch, leaving a 1/16 inch gap for the PL400 to be able to spread out and grab.
So as you've been running these stairs, he's basically putting in a riser, and here's one of the poplar risers. These are going to be painted, by the way, so the idea is we'll have a painted poplar riser, and then we'll have a stained longleaf pine tread. Same situation here. Daryl's also dadoed out that on the side of the riser, so we can put a nice fat bead of PL400 in there when those run into those pockets and get some really tight grab. And then here, help me with this little example here. And then you can see that then the tread is getting set into that joint. And so he's running up the staircase one tread and riser at a time. Which actually brings up a good point. I wanted to talk about how you're fastening. So the only actual mechanical fastening on these treads is on the far side where the stringer is underneath.
No, I decided I wanted something to grab the stringer. So with the eight penny casing nails, I ran one through the front and one in the back.
Oh, nice. So we've got a casing nail on both sides, which, if anything, is really holding it until that glue sets up.
Right.
And then on the left-hand side, we're using a, what is that, a 2 1/4?
2.5 inch.
2.5 inch star drive coarse thread screw. And that's going down on these holes that you can see here. And then let me brag on Daryl for a minute. One of the things that I love about Daryl's craftsmanship, look at this tread right here. Probably in the video you can't even tell, but there's two plugs in there. There's a plug there, and there's a plug over there, and it's really hard to tell. And the reason why you can hardly tell there's a plug there is because this tread was a little longer. Daryl cut it to length, and that little 2-inch offcut on this tread, he saved that and marked it, and then went over to the drill press that's behind the camera here with his plug cutter, drilled a plug out of that same area where that grain was, just 2 inches beyond where that tread is on the cutoff, glued in that plug, matched the grain, and man, it's really hard to tell where those plugs are. So these treads have been nailed, glued, and screwed, and then plugged. So none of these fasteners are visible.
Some of them completely disappear.
Yeah, that one's totally gone. It's looking really, really good, Daryl. Next couple days, our next task is to start working on this handrail and guardrail wall that's coming on the side here. There's some pretty neat details on that. So we'll pick up the video next week and continue on. Okay, we're back. It's been a few months. My carpenter Daryl did a great job. The staircase is complete. Let me show you some of the details. Those are those long leaf treads. As you can see, the poplar risers have now been painted. Rick and Cindy Black, the architects, specified the colors. They just did a great job in the detailing. As we let off the last part of the video, we were just datoing these guys into the stringer. You can see we did an exposed fastener on those just for additional rigidity. And then this guardrail on the side, which also serves as the handrail, is super thin. This is probably a 3/4 wide tongue and groove pine that we clad this with. And then of course the handrail on the top is longleaf again. And then look how pretty this looks. We clear coated everything. We use an oil-based polyurethane, so that beautiful amber tone on that longleaf pine comes out. And if you remember, this stringer here is the one that's the encapsulated stringer. So we let in all the stair treads, and as you walk around the back side, this is the front door right here. You can see this right when you come in at the front door. It's so pretty. Again, Rick and Cindy, the architects on the job, just did an amazing job with these details. So pretty and specifying. And I love on the back side here how you can see the longleaf pine and the contrast that makes with the poplar that we use for the risers. And these black marks right here, this is nails from this old 1800s beam that when they got removed, they left that black staining. Just gives it some really pretty character. Thanks for joining me, everybody. And if you're interested in building a really detailed staircase, find a great company with some great carpenters. These projects are a lot of fun, but there's a lot of details, a lot of thought needs to go in them, and you really need a carpenter who's been around for quite a few years to be able to pull off these details. We'll see you next time. Have a good day.